surprising to us, to me in particular. I didn't ever imagine that it would be so intense. You know, we designed it to be a ride. We designed it to be emotional. Of course, the show's a tragedy. Horrible things happen in every episode. But this landed in a different way for our audience, especially LGBTQ fans of the show. And you know, one of the things that sort of began to drive it home for me was I watch fan reaction videos sort of religiously on Friday mornings, and on this particular Friday, I couldn't watch them. They were too intense. The audience, one after the next, they were devastated by what they saw. And you know, we as artists and writers and actors, you know, we don't want to hurt people. And I feel like this touched something real. It touched a nerve. It activated something in people who, you know, their whole lives have had to deal with things that me as a straight white guy, you know, obviously couldn't relate to. So I was very surprised by it. And I've apologized for that. We never really, I think, understood the power of that relationship and that character. And so knowing what I know now, I would have done some things differently. That's an acknowledgement that I need to make, I think.
Let me ask you a bit more about that, you know, because you did an interview last week with TV Insider, and you mentioned that you felt, you know, you stand by the story, and the story would stay the same, but yet you also have said that you would have it play out differently. Can you maybe elaborate on looking back now?
Yeah, I mean, when you do press for me, I'm not very good at it, frankly, and you know, I think I'll probably prove that today multiple times. The truth is, when I was answering that question, I was thinking that the question meant, and certainly in my mind, it meant, would you still follow through with killing this character? And the answer is, I know it's not going to make everybody happy, but the answer is yes. But I would do things differently. I feel like, you know, there's a couple things. There's three real areas here that I think I've messed up a little bit and would love to have done better. One is sort of my social media interaction with the fans, in some way set up around this relationship an unrealistic expectation that Lexa would be okay and that she'd walk off into the sunset. And really the only promise explicitly that I've ever made about the show, and guys, I apologize for saying this, but nobody is safe. You know, that's the kind of show it is. And so I do think that, you know, I regret the way that I talked about the show on social, because obviously I'm excited. I get excited about the show. I love the fact that we have a bisexual lead. I love the fact that, you know, a new audience came to the show because of this relationship. And I was excited, and I was sharing my excitement, and that was misinterpreted to mean that I was promising like a happy ending. And then the other thing is the show itself and the way the episode played out. I feel like there's a couple things that I wish we got better, you know, did better, which, you know, one of them is the sex and death happening so close together. I definitely am uncomfortable with that juxtaposition now. For me at the time, it didn't mean, you know, obviously for me, the death had nothing to do with the fact that she just had sex. It was, you know, this powerful, transformative figure who was killed because she was trying to change her people. And that's always dangerous, as history, I think, has proven. And so that's why she died, and that's why I sort of allowed those two scenes to coexist like that. But in hindsight, I do wish that I'd figured out a way to separate them somehow. And the other thing is the stray bullet. A lot of people have said, you know, Lexa was this amazing, powerful character, and she should have had a heroic death. And you know, on the one hand, I get that completely. She was, and I totally believe you when you say that you know that would have made it better for you. But at the same time, this show really doesn't traffic in heroic battlefield deaths. You know, I mean, not to say we would never do that. Sometimes we do sort of self-sacrificial things, of course, and maybe that would have been a way to go. But I was trying to make a different point. I was trying to make a point that life is fragile, and somebody who is powerful as Lexa could die because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That was the tragedy that I was trying to underline. And again, I wish I knew more about this trope back then. I wish because had I done my homework about it, I probably would have come upon the fact that in Buffy, the character is also a lesbian, died by a stray bullet, and I was unaware of that because I didn't watch that show. And so, you know, I would have, for sure, just for creative reasons alone, tried to differentiate our execution of that idea. And so here we, you know, interested with anything even close to it, and so it took me a while to figure it out. At first I was obviously defensive, I retweeted some stupid things that I shouldn't have retweeted and took down pretty quickly, and eventually I was able to sort of take myself out of it and listen and understand where the anger was coming from and understand what we had sort of tapped into unintentionally. And, you know, going forward, I think obviously we need to be aware of the power of the stories that we're telling and that our audience is seeing it through their own experience, and that, you know, in this case I underestimated for sure. In season 4, which we just got, I plan on implying that for sure in the room.
I don't want to ignore all these cast members who are nice enough to come here today. My only one follow-up I did want to ask was on the social media side, because it is a tricky thing, and obviously fans love that interaction, they love the accessibility. You know, for you, do you just sort of, are you going to approach it in a different way now, you know, given the criticism you got?
The answer is, unfortunately, yes. I think I need to be careful, obviously, you know, because the excitement that I showed on Twitter, which is what that was, again, set up this expectation that somehow, you know, we were going to blow it. We were going to do something different with Lexa, and somehow she was going to walk off into the sunset. And, you know, I obviously, you know, Twitter is 140 characters, and it's like a haiku. You know, you can write essays on what people have said in 140 characters, which means that what I say is interpreted by, you know, people to mean what they want it to. And so, yeah, I have to be much more careful, obviously, going forward, for sure.
Well, Eliza, let me ask you, you know, because the storyline, meanwhile, has, you know, huge implications. We got a look there at how Clark has to deal with all this, and she clearly is dealing with this loss. At the same time, though, she has to worry, yeah, whoever's the new commander could be heading straight for my people, and now the worst possible person is in that role. So, you know, can you talk about going forward, you know, how much is the loss of Lexa weighing on her while she has to deal with so much else?
Well, I think firstly Clark is, you know, has always been very good at compartmentalizing. She's always been very good at pushing forward in even the worst situations. But this one's different. I mean, you know, this is her love, and it's going to be really, really tricky for her. And I think it changes her. It really changes her for good. But in true Clark fashion, she will somehow get through it. But it really is, it's such a hard situation for her.
Now, Bob, Bellamy has gone to some